Good. Vinny's here too. All right. Check one. Check two. Welcome, everybody. We're live. We're live. We're alive. Totally alive. Good morning. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Good morning, everybody. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Ah, a little Krishna in the morning for you. Krishna in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. Marcus Conte reporting. How are you guys? How you doing, man? How are you? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh, yesterday we were going to do a show, and today we're doing it. Hold on a second. And shut that shit off. And we're live. Good morning, everybody. Vinny D. Martini in the chat. And Weevil Girls here, William Smith. So today, my special guest is Dr. William Conte, a theater professor who has enormous, unprecedented experience dealing with today's lost generation. Now, is the generation lost is my question. When I look at kids today, I say they're stupid, they're fucked up, they don't know what they're doing. Or I say, well, they're so brilliant, they ignore us. Right? Which one is it? Right? And that's what we're going to find out. If you have, I guess you have to have direct experience with young people as a college professor would. Right? Got thrown into the fire. So Bill is going to talk to us about this lost generation. And thank you all for joining me. We'll break to the markets too at 9:30. And there's my thumbnail today. This is my thumbnail from yesterday. Dr. William Conte is our guest today on lost generation, in quotes. Is the generation lost or are we lost? Who's lost here? I don't know. I really don't know. And we're going to find out. That's why we have That's why I have a college professor come in and tell us what the hell's going on. So this is my website, marcusconte.com. Every morning, every goddamn morning, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m., we're live right here on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. If we're ever lost, if the censorship creeps up on us and kicks us out, just come here to the page, marcusconte.com. And you can click on the YouTube link or wherever we might be. If we're not on YouTube, we can be on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, or wherever else you consume your media. You could also contribute to the program through PayPal, which many of you have, and Patreon as well. Those are the links. And also Zelle. I'll do some reverb on that one. Zelle. You could do some Zelle direct. You can send some money to me through Zelle. So that's what we got. Let's do a little background here. So just to ongoing news, the Speaker of the House, very important position in America, has narrowed down to 8. If you've been paying attention, and there's no clear front runner. They're saying. No clear front runner, so it looks like Jim Jordan is out of the run. Steve Scalise, whatever his name is out as well. The 2 top Republicans are out. And you got all these schmucks right here. I don't know who these guys are. Who's fucking Dan Musser? Nobody wants Dan Musser. Pete Sessions. Pete Sessions, I remember his name. He was famous at one time. Austin Scott. Look at all these fucking trolls. Who are these people, right? You got a Republican brother, Speaker of the House. So no Speaker of the House yet. Translated into nothing is happening in Congress right now because Matt fucking Matt and his buddies kicked out fucking McCarthy as House Speaker, and now we're left with no House Speaker. So So that's still happening over there. What else we got here? So and Rashida Tlaib, one of the squad members, is calling for independent investigation into Gaza hospital blast. Refuses to accept U.S.-Israel findings. How dare you? How dare you, Rashid, say that Israel and the United States might be lying to you about who blew up the fucking hospital? Remember when the United States said the Nord Stream 2 pipelines, Russia blew up their own pipeline? And then a week later, we found out that the United States did it with the British Navy behind them. So I think I will say Rashid Tlaib, the squad lady, is right to launch an independent investigation into the hospital blast in Gaza, because it does look like Israel blew up the fucking hospital, right? Because they said, oh yeah, there's terrorists hiding in the hospital. They blew up somebody blew up the hospital, and Israel and the United States want you to believe that the Palestinians misfired. That's bullshit. So give her a round of applause. Love her or hate her, we have to stand with truth. And we'd like to know, there she is, Rashid Tlaib, wants to find out if, here's the thing, will we ever get a truthful response from Netanyahu, Israel, and Joe Biden, America, as to who blew up the hospital? Hell fucking no, right? Because they're blaming Hamas. So you gotta kudos to examine it. Whatever your political belief, your religious belief, your fucking, who cares? Your Republican, Democrat, somebody blew up a hospital, right, in fucking Gaza, right? There's war going on. They're blowing each other up and killing each other, right? And stop lying, right? If you blew up the hospital, sign it, I guess. Right? Also, fucking Taylor Swift making all kinds of news with her new boyfriend. She's dating some linebacker, some guy on the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Big news, right? If you're following that shit. I'm not following it. So let's talk about the youth of today. Here we go. Flash mob. This is your youth, right? They storm into the Gap and steal everything. Right? There they are, 20-something, falling down, grabbing shit. All right, this is what youth has become in America. All right? Hoods, fucking masks, right? Flash mobs, right? I didn't have that shit when I was a kid. What's wrong with these kids, God damn it? What is wrong with this generation? Now, here they are in an Apple store, ripping off the Apple store. Turn this audio off. So there they are. This is 12-second flash mob at the Apple store. Rip everything off. Get out of my way. Give me that fucking Apple phone, man. I'm going to go sell this shit, man. All right, this is opportunity, right? Is this opportunity for the youth? This is their opportunity that they've been waiting for. The opportunity to go into Apple and steal all the phones. Every last one of them, right? So here's I want to give you some of the statistics. Why is this all happening? Behavioral disorders are more common amongst young adolescents than older adolescents. Really. Emotional disorders. Mental health. Here we go. Mental health, emotional disorders. It is estimated, listen to this estimate. It's estimated that 3.6% of 10 to 14-year-olds and 4.6%, roughly 5% of everybody under 19 experiences anxiety disorder. Depression, estimated to occur among 1.1% of adolescents and all right. So there's a lot of, there appears to be quite a bit of depression. I found the suicide statistic kind of fucking creepy. Hold on a second. Where's my statistics, man? Where's my statistics? Here we go. Yeah, mental health. Here we go. So 11% of high school students in Atlanta seriously considered attempting suicide. That's crazy, right? At a state level, 13%. That's like one in two. It's like 2 in 10, right? 1 in 5 kids thinks about killing themselves. I never did that, right? More data and more research about young adults. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. So there's a lot of distension in kids, right? So we're gonna jump right to my guest. And Bill, this is my cousin Bill. Bill, turn your audio on, and we are live. What's up, Bill?
Microphone is on, cousin.
How are you, man?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Right.
I'm great, man. Things are beautiful in big, beautiful Wyoming here.
Mm-hmm.
It's something's just coming up on us here, and I'm here to talk to you about what happened to the fucking kids, man, because they have gone downhill. So let me give you just a little bit of background here.
But before you do that, Bill, I just want to let people know who you are. I'm just going to show you pages, and then we'll talk. All right. So that's my
sure.
Dr. Bill Conte. He is the creator of Theater of the Poor, theaterofthepoor.org. You can find it yourself. Productions include The Miseducation of the American Mind. I love the title. The Senator Project as well. Also, you can visit him on Facebook, Theater of the Poor. And as I said, Bill is a bona fide doctor of theater, PhD theater, many years of teaching kids, being in the room with them, right? Right, that's different, right? Today's population, like you see kids outside and you have an opinion, or you watch a video of them flash fucking burning something. But Bill was in the room. They threw their kids at Bill. So that's who Bill is. So talk me down, Bill. Is it a lost generation, or are we just fucking old?
You know, it's like both actually. And we are old and we are cranky and we are at the point where we're saying these kids today and all that. But the problem with the kids is that we are living in what's called a post-truth epic right now. And from the time these kids were conceived, they've been marinated in postmodernism, which says that there is no such thing as absolute truth. There's no truth other than what you perceive, other than what exists in your mind. During all of that, they dismantled the classics. They don't teach the classics anymore. They don't teach basic philosophy, ethics, history. The kids are coming to college after going through high school with zero understanding of the history, of the culture, of the world that they live in. They can't write, they can't read, because they are now immersed in a culture of images, which has replaced the word as the primary transmission of information and ideas. So they don't know how to process language anymore, which is why every other word is like, fucking, what, like that. So I got started in 1988, back at the College of Staten Island, and back when they had a campus by the ferry at the St. George, what is now, I guess, a bunch of court buildings there. And it was I was about 24, 25 at the time, and the kids they weren't really kids. They were mostly, practically my peers. But I noticed that over time, the skills eroded. Their ability to express themselves in writing, the ability to process the written word, all began to decline continuously. They just got worse and worse and worse. And then what began to emerge later in the 90s was an attitude of, not only do I don't know, but I don't care that I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then further, as we got into the aughts and the internet became more prevalent in our lives, people began to think, well, what the fuck do I have to know this for? I don't have to, I could just Google this. I could just look this up. This is just, all this information is available to me. But the problem is that, when information is
why is that a problem? Why is that a problem?
Like that,
why is that a problem? That's what, right? It seems like the sign of the times. Hey, professor, why do I have to remember fucking organic chemistry when I could just Google it or Chat GPT tell me what I need to know quickly, right? Isn't that the evolution of kind of, stuff? Isn't that evolution of education? I'm not going to worry about memorizing stuff. I'm just going to accept that there is no truth, and I'm going to come from the heart. That's their argument, sort of.
That's pretty much their argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, information is
Everywhere.
just out there everywhere. It's not a problem for them, but they don't know what to do with the information. That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not enough to have information. You've got to be able to process it and compare this with that, and also be able to have a sense of what is real, what is concrete in the world. When you grow up being told that the sky is the limit and that there is no truth, there is no reality other than what you create, and you could be anything you want to be, then you obviously are somebody who is unmoored in life. You have no direction, you have no purpose. Yeah, I have all of these choices, but like Schopenhauer said, the German philosopher, he said the will is like being in a boat, and now you're in the middle of the ocean, and okay, you can go anywhere you want to go, but it doesn't matter where you go, because there's just no purpose in it. Every direction is the same. So these kids now in a postmodern world have no moorings.
Right.
And Weevil Girl's asking us here, is technology the cause of all this? Well, yeah. And what you were just saying about changes in the way we learn and process information is valid. Yeah, but the internet is a tool. It's not to be a replacement for our brains and for our memory. Memory, was much more cultivated in the Middle Ages than it is today. Monks and ordinary people had to retain enormous amounts of information, but I'll bet most of the people watching us now don't even know their own phone numbers. I don't.
I sort of do.
Or other people's phone numbers. We've allowed technology to replace one of the primary functions of our brain, which is not only to assimilate what is happening in the world around us, but also to be able to process it and to hold on to those experiences and then be able to reuse them and learn from them and hopefully not make the same mistakes that we've been making. We see the students in the postmodern world are just creating their own reality.
What kind of stupid things? What kind of stupid things do you see? Like kids, they won't do their homework. Do they curse you out? Fuck you, white man. I mean, what disrespect do you feel like they offer? Well, what type of?
Most of my teaching career was.
Good, yeah.
Okay, I was in CUNY a lot. I was at Kingsborough Community College. I was at College of Staten Island, but I was also at Farmingdale State. I was at Suffolk County Community College. I was at Toro. I was Wagner, St. John's. I taught everywhere. For the most part, in the 90s, the kids were still mostly respectful. Students were mostly respectful of the teacher.
Right.
If anything, they were just disengaged. They checked out. I never really experienced a lot in the way of disruption, but more they were becoming absorbed in the phones, because as everybody got a phone, they just would sit there on their phones in class and not even listen to the lecture. They don't do the reading that is necessary for them to understand. I was teaching theater when I got here to Wyoming, and you have to read plays, or at least watch them. When I realized that they weren't going to read the plays, I would put them on find videos for them to watch, and they won't even do that. So what college has become,
you can't threaten them. You can't threaten them, Bill. You can't threaten them with an F. If you don't do your homework, you're going to get an F.
Marcus, they don't.
They don't care. You dropped out, mate. Hold on, listen. Bill, if you can hear me, stop talking. Bill, your audio's gone, Bill. Your audio. Turn your audio back on. Your audio dropped.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. Yeah. So they know that they're going to pass. They know that the colleges have an investment in keeping graduation rates as high as possible so that they look good. So it doesn't. I was under pressure, and a lot of faculty members in places that I taught were under pressure to keep the fail rates low, so that the kids can move on and people can pass and get their degrees. That's what they're there for. They're not there for an education. They're there for a diploma, which they think is a license for them to go out and earn money and do stuff. But when in reality, the diploma, which used to be the indicator that you actually have accumulated a body of knowledge, is now just for them a license to go out and earn money. But more and more employers are realizing that the diploma at the college level, especially the bachelor's degree, is worthless.
Worthless.
Because they don't have the requisite skills. There's no fundamental understanding of language, how to process it, how to write, how to reason, and everything is processed through their feelings.
Right.
And that's where we are. And
what about the feeling
it's
of?
a damn shame.
What about the feeling of?
They've just given up on trying to make sense of the world in terms of history and philosophy and art and science. They are pig ignorant. They know nothing about history, and it's really, really depressing. I got out of teaching in 2020 when the COVID thing hit.
Right.
It was a disaster. Trying to teach theater to kids in masks, trying to put on plays, where the actors had to be masked and say 6 feet away from each other. That just made everything worse. It eroded education even further. So now we're at the point where kids are so far behind. Especially at the grammar school level, kids are so far behind. I don't know if we're ever going to recover from this. It's gotten really, really, really ugly. And what really was the most disturbing thing about the COVID thing was that the kids didn't push back. They did not fight back. Could you imagine them trying to do to us in the late 70s and the 80s what they did to these kids, forcing them into masks and saying you can't go to class and you can't gather and you can't have shows, you can't have concerts, you can't do this. We would have been like, fuck you, and the horse, the entire stable that you rode in on. There's no way we would have sat still.
They swallowed the story hook, line, and sinker. They swallowed that whole COVID story of vaccine and stay distant and wear masks. Why did they believe it? It was pretty convincing, right? To them.
They believed it because
they believed it. They believed
it because that's what they were told to believe.
Right.
They believed it because they more and more want to be, at the same time they want to be pleasing. They want to go along. They don't want to, they don't want to be perceived as standing out in a bad way. It was virtuous to wear a mask. It was virtuous to go along with, what the status quo and what the trends are. So they just bought into it, and they submitted when they tested positive for COVID, and then they were locked down and quarantined in their dorm rooms for 14 days. And their mental health eroding and meals being delivered to their dorm rooms. I saw this up close and personal, and I pushed back against it. And I tried to get the kids to say, this will end. This will stop. You won't have to go on stage in masks anymore if you refuse. None of them would refuse. They were terrified. They were terrified. None of them would stand up. And in the end, I ended up directing a musical, a production of Tarzan.
They all got the vaccines too. They all got the shot too, right?
Stage.
They got the shot too, right? They got all jacked up.
Oh, the shot's a nightmare. The shot is it's a disaster. Now I'm hearing
you dropped out.
Dropping, adults or a teenager dropping out. You have to it's just CPR. Start doing something.
Hey, what about turn your YouTube audio off, Bill? Turn your audio off. Your YouTube audio is on.
What?
Turn your YouTube audio off, Bill. Turn your audio off.
I'm getting like a bounce. I'm getting a bounce right here.
I just turned YouTube off completely.
I'm getting a bounce right here.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah. You're good. So there's some.
Yeah.
I'm still hearing. I'm hearing myself. I'm
hearing myself.
That's because my speaker is.
Turn your speaker.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my headset back on.
Yeah, do that.
For some reason, I went back over to my speakers. I'm sorry, guys. Why don't you come back to me in a second, Mark?
Okay, and while you're talking about that, I'll break to the market. It's two more minutes. We'll open. Also, think about I'll bring it up in a second. Let me just look at the market. Ding! Holy shit! Let's see what we got here while Bill figures out his technological. Wow, Dow Jones Industrial Average futures are up 140. Yesterday was a mother effer of a day. S&P 500 futures are up. We're not open yet. One more minute. S&P 500 up 19. Dow Jones up 150. NASDAQ looks like it's going to open up about 60 points. And we'll get to that in a second. I just need to wait for it to open. We got one more minute. And wow, you know what I want to ask Bill? I want to ask. I still hear myself, Bill.
Okay, yeah. Is it better?
Yeah, now I don't hear an echo. I don't hear any echoes. No echo. And let me see. Are we open? Bing. And hold on a second. I'm just trying to get open here. Okay, we're open. So here we go. So NASDAQ is opened up 34. And as I said yesterday, there's a lot of earnings coming in. You've got Amazon, you've got Facebook, you've got Google, you've got Microsoft, all reporting this year. The headline right now, GM withdraws 2023 guidance as auto strike takes toll. So auto owners are getting a little crushed right now. Google up $1.26, Apple 15 cents up, Amazon up $1.29. Meta, formerly Facebook, up $3. Microsoft up $1.60. Tesla creeping back at 171, up 371. So it looks like it's quite bumpy right now, but up. I don't suspect that it's going to remain up. I think the trajectory short term right now is down. I hear you, Bill. It's like thunder. Lockheed Martin, the military industrial complex stock up 250. Raytheon up $5 a share. Right? Hamas, and Israel. The war in Israel, cranking up, bringing Raytheon, the guys who sell guns and bombs and shit, up 8% this morning. Boeing also up a percentage point. And so it looks like we have a green open. NASDAQ is creeping up as we speak. But again, yesterday was a big down day. We'll see if it holds right now. So what's up, Bill? Bill is in his fucking laboratory. So, Bill, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Can you hear me, Bill?
I can hear you.
Oh, cool. The issue of equity. Now there's no bounce. Whatever you did, you got rid of it. Now I hear you fine. This business of equity, diversity, inclusion. You're an old white man. You couldn't possibly understand what me, a young black woman, is thinking. How dare you? How dare you? And how dare you say that I shouldn't be wearing pink? I'm a fucking tranny. Did you call me sir, mister? Did you? That's violence, right? Did you experience any of that kind of garbage? Because you see a lot of it being, you see a lot of it being amped up in the media. Did you witness any of that? What was your experience with the equity, diversity nonsense?
Well, certainly in the theater, it's where you find a lot of kids that are certainly LGBTQ, kids that are struggling with their identity and their sexuality. And as time has passed, we've become more accepting of these things. I think that a lot of the kids now who are identifying as trans are just following a trend. A lot of gay kids who would ordinarily have just been either effeminate boys or hypermasculine girls are now being encouraged to alter their bodies in order to fit some stereotypical conception of themselves. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. In the postmodern world, you are what you say you are. Right. You create, you speak reality into existence the way God spoke light into existence. And so, as the author of my own existence, as my own God, I can create myself into whatever I want to be. And if you don't acknowledge their reality, you are committing violence.
Violence.
And anything that offends a student is regarded as being disruptive to their education. I got screwed over big time by a student who complained about a joke I cracked in the discussion of the play Angels in America, which is about gay men, written by a gay man. And, the main character is dying of AIDS. And he's ultimately redeemed. It's a beautiful, brilliant play. But the joke I cracked was, what does a gay man bring to his second date? And the answer is his new boyfriend. And the student apparently didn't like that and filed a complaint. And the next thing I know, I'm having to, defend myself against these charges of creating a hostile environment. Well, try to talk to the kid. They don't tell you that you're not supposed to talk to the kid. But I tried to talk to the kid about it, and that was seen as retaliation. And this snowflake just was basking in the attention. So what they've learned is that they have great power by being victims, by identifying as victims, by claiming to have been wounded or injured in some way. And it all goes back again to them being the center of everything. They don't see that there is anything outside of themselves that is of importance. So how they feel and what they think and what they want have to be addressed. And the schools have become like elaborate day spas and daycare centers where these kids are just coddled to no end and provided with recreations, entertainments, and rock climbing walls, and it's more of like summer camp now than anything else. And at the end, where they do everything in their power, and this happened during COVID, they did everything in their power to round on the system to figure out how they could cheat. Once they were home alone in their dorms and everything was happening over Zoom, they were Googling everything. They were collaborating with each other. No test that was taken in the 2-year period that we were under lockdown and COVID, I think, is legitimate because they just cheated their way through everything. I mean, my daughter, who is now 22 years old, she went through the same thing. She said, I didn't learn anything. I learned how to cheat. And she ultimately ended up leaving college and because she's doing much better waiting tables and working with me in the theater. The college education has become a dead end for so many people because you get these bullshit degrees in communications and gender studies and what are you going to do with that in the real world or even theater? There's no meaningful. I mean, you can say okay, theater would apply to public relations, marketing, if you want to go into law, but it's all of these degrees are worthless. There's nothing that you can't learn that you could learn in a liberal arts or humanities program that you can't teach yourself if you had a good mind or somebody to mentor you. So what I've been doing is I've been trying just to deal with the students one-on-one. Kids still come to me. I tutor them for free. We talk about theater history, philosophy, art, plays that they want to read. And I'm trying to reapproach the education from the perspective of, transmitting my knowledge to my students and my actors so that they can carry this on into the next generation. They're not going to be able to Google it once the internet goes. And, with the shit that's been happening in the world right now, I'm not confident that we're going to be able to continue to rely on our technology to get us through. We're going to have to go back to things like books and remember what we learned and remember what we knew. We need to be ready for that world. And the kids today are not. They are going to. Going to just fold.
I had a kid say, he said, "Wow, you were born before cell phones, right?" And he said, "Wow, you have no memory." Right? He equated my memory to what was in my phone, the pictures. Right? Imagine that, right? Yep. You have no memory. No, I have memory. Yep. I was there. It's you who have no memory. Your memory is an electronic, thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
This is all part and parcel with the transhumanist movement as well. You're familiar with that, right?
Not really. Transhumanist movement. Go tell me what it is. What is it?
This movement, it's being promulgated by guys like Kurzweiler and Gates and. It's all about transcending humanity and
okay.
consciousness into a hard drive so that your consciousness can exist in some sort of simulated reality
Right.
that
Okay. I got you.
perpetuates your personality. Ways of extending life, ways of replacing organs, making us more and more like machines and less like human beings. And they're all down for this because, again, they want to conquer death, and they want to do it by making themselves into living gods. Now, the problem with that technology, of course, is that's only going to be available to a handful of people, but that's not going to stop them from trying to achieve it and to make themselves gods. Transhumanism, though, is the cell phones and people like Elon Musk talking about putting neural implants in our brains so that we can immediately access the internet. That's all part of that, and students are excited by that because if you have a neural implant in your mind now, you don't have to learn Spanish. You can just download it and have it in your brain. And students are students and people generally are excited by the prospect of that new world. And more and more, we are forgetting what it means to be human, and I think our art reflects that as well. As art becomes more and more about shock and ugliness, and desecration and transgression. When the act of gluing yourself to a gallery wall or throwing tomato paste or soup on a Van Gogh, that's a performance. That's regarded as a form of performance, believe it or not. And that kind of performance is not about creating anything. It's about desecrating and transgressing and showing your contempt for the world. Not that you're interested in beauty, you're interested in ugliness. Because again, in the postmodern world, where is beauty? Well, it's in the eye of the beholder. And so what you think is beautiful to you. Which, I mean, is valid to a point, but there is, I think, objective ugliness. We all recognize things that turn us off and that repulse us and horrify us, and we're being increasingly indoctrinated to ignore the sense that things are truly and objectively beautiful and good, and to pursue those things. We don't. We're up in pleasure, and we mistake that for happiness. And what we've done to students is just a nightmare.
So we did it. Wait, stop. We did it. We did it to them. We did it. It's our fault that they are in part. It is. Yeah. Mad Cow Mark says, I done theater when I was younger here in Australia. Then I found alcohol. That's a good one.
You probably found alcohol through theater, because that's when I started drinking. I had my first beer at a cast party.
This is theater. What we're doing. This is theater. This is the theater of YouTube. Without the technology, I wouldn't exist right now. You wouldn't exist. We use the platform as a I don't know, pivot into something greater. I don't know. But I don't know. Show me. Let's go one step further. Show me an example of a time in history where the youth had it all fucking wrong, and then grew up to realize it. Does that ever happen? Like the '60s hippies thought they had it figured out, and now they're in junk. Just accept that this is the junk you were born with. I guess my wonder is this generation any worse? Well, lost your connection. Try to reconnect. I'm gonna just go there. You left your meeting. I'm getting ready. Hold on a second. I'm gonna join again. I'm back, and we're back. Yeah, it drops once in a while. You follow my train of thought. There is that I tend to wonder. I'm still on the fence with it. I think that, yes, we may have, the people older than this new generation, have created a world that has created these obstacles for young people, not understanding or accepting sex or gender, well, it's the same, or race, I think I'm with them. I think I'm with them on the other stuff like technology. I think technology is moving in the proper direction, and we need to. We're getting dragged along with it. But I don't know what I'm trying to say, Bill. But
well, I think what we're saying here is that technology has definitely become the center of their lives in a way that technology has never been, in history in terms of the way in which it's influencing the way people live and the way they communicate and so forth. But the question that was asked about was there a time in history where one generation got it all wrong and then later corrected? Yeah, I mean, just go back to the tulip craze that happened in Holland, back I think in the 1600s, where tulip bulbs became a massively important commodity, incredibly expensive, was the Bitcoin of its time, and everybody went nuts trying to invest in tulip bulbs, and finally when the bottom came out of that, they turned out to be worthless, and they realized that there's a certain mob mentality that can cause people to make very bad decisions. Salem witch hunts, another example of that. People get caught up in mob hysteria. The George Floyd thing, another good example of mob hysteria. George Floyd was not murdered. George Floyd died of a drug overdose and from his own bad habits. But people, again, want to believe these narratives over any kind of fact. So we get it wrong all the time.
Wait, hold on a second. George Floyd. We all saw the video. We saw the cop. Whether he was on drugs or not doesn't matter, in my view. We saw the video of a cop holding his knee on his throat for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. We saw the video. I think they may have gotten that one right. A lot of the other one, Trayvon Martin, and the rest of them. You see them reaching for fucking guns. Go ahead.
The autopsy came out on this guy, and this is my point. The autopsy was suppressed. And the autopsy originally said that there was no sign of asphyxiation, no sign of the kind of forensic, internal damage that happens when someone is strangled. Mm-hmm. This guy died of a fentanyl overdose and a heart attack. And it looks bad on video, but again, the images are deceiving, and that's our problem. We don't look past the image, and we don't think beyond the narrative. George Floyd, they took down fucking Christopher Columbus's statue in Newark, New Jersey, and replaced it with a statue of George Floyd. I mean, what is wrong with us as a society that they make this guy a hero? A guy who held a gun to a pregnant woman. Mm-hmm. And it's just appalling. Mm-hmm. And so, all of this now is devolving down on our kids because the kids take great joy in being on the side of righteousness and goodness, and anybody who's oppressed, they want to get on board, and that's what's being taught to them in college. You have to stand up for oppressed people, that's and that the oppressors are you, the oppressors are us, the oppressors are this country.
So with right now we're engaged in a war with. In Israel, Israel's engaged in a war with everybody, all their bad neighbors, Jordan, fucking whoever else, right? And do you see Israel? What's your take on that? Do you see Israel as the oppressor or Israel as the aggressor? How are you perceiving that?
I think Israel has a right to exist. I think they have a right to live in peace. I think that from the time that they came into existence in 1947 or 48 or whatever it was, they have been constantly besieged on all sides by people who are ideologically committed to wiping them off the face of the earth. And you can't really negotiate with people who want to kill you, right? I mean, we learned this growing up. When the guy says, I'm going to get you, you believe him. I'm going to get you off the bus. You believe him. That guy's going to be waiting for you. You don't take threats. Yeah. So, you don't take threats lying down. And the Jews have been very, very patient. They've offered deal after deal after deal, and they keep walking away. The Palestinians keep walking away because they don't want them there. They want to completely eliminate them from the river to the sea. Now, because our college students are indoctrinated in postmodern political correctness and the idea that the more victimized you are, the more virtuous you are, the Palestinians are elevated to the point of angelic status, because they're represented as being so horribly oppressed. When in fact they are the author of their own oppression.
I'm going to raise my hand, Professor Bill.
Sorry.
But Professor Bill, weren't the Palestinians there first before 1948 and Hitler fucking exterminated the Jew in Europe? The Palestinians were living happily ever after in Palestine. Who gave them fucking permission to come to Israel and declare it theirs? Dr.
Well,
Bill?
Palestine is a fiction of the Roman Empire, and that's what the Romans called it. And there's no such thing as a Palestinian. These people are all ethnically Egyptian and Jordanian,
Right.
and those countries don't want them.
Indigenous.
Their own co-religionists and
Well, they've been there. Well, wait a
ethnic,
second. Wait a second. Whoa, wait. They've been there. They've been there for 4,000 years. The Palestinians. They were there long before.
Jews were there too.
Right. They were exactly.
Well, I mean,
they all. Wait. They coexisted for thousands of years. Why now have the Israelis boxed the Palestinians into Gaza and the West Bank? It does seem like an occupation. It does seem like not only an open air prison, but now Gaza is a fucking concentration camp. They cut off water, they cut off food, they cut off electricity. That's exactly what Germany did to the Jew. And now the Jew is coming to, the theoretical Jew, is coming to Israel and doing the same exact thing, worse. The biggest concentration camp, there's 5 million Palestinians in Gaza. If they succeed, and it looks like they will, they're hell bent. Israel's hell bent. You could say whatever you want. It's all justified. They're fucking animals. The Palestinians, they blew up the hospital. You see, they're fucking animals. We need to, right? But who was there first? Who started it? Who's oppressing who? Who built the fence around who? Right.
Well, I mean, that's how
I see it. I mean, if I'm keeping score, I would say that Israel is clearly the aggressor to their indigenous people, refused over and over to allow them to exist independently or on their by their side, right? And so, how do we make the argument that? Look, the terrorism and the way Hamas operates is barbaric, but that's all they have. Israel has fucking F-15 fighter jets and nuclear capability. Israel can blow Gaza up completely and make the coast of the Mediterranean come into Israel. Right? That's how powerful.
Israel telling that they haven't done that yet, though. They haven't done that.
No, they haven't done it.
If they wanted to really exterminate these people and use their military might, they could do it. But to answer your question, there's a lot of history back there. I mean, it's we could Abraham if you want to talk about history. But again, most of that is rejected because it's the Bible, right? And so, what is the Bible but a bunch of stories that we've been telling for thousands and thousands of years that we reinforce, and so that they take on the force of truth. And so, with a lot of people just don't, believe that the Jews are a legitimate biblical claim. But if the Bible is the source of legitimate history, as it is in many cases, you can make the argument that Israel was promised to the Jews by God. That's the promised land.
That's a really good point. You're making a very good point because you're making a very good point that the Bible, something I never considered, that the Bible, whether it's true or false, is a historical. It's historical evidence of what people believed back then. Whether the Bible's been rewritten by corrupt Italians for fucking 1,000 years in Italy, right? The Medici family, they've mixed it up. But even if you go back to the 500 years, they still believe that Israel was the land of the Jew, the promised land for the Jew. That I got to agree with you there. So the Palestinians have to produce a document or some kind of. I think they have that they have a claim to it as well.
Well, I mean, let's how about this? How about we split the difference and say that they both have a claim?
They both have a claim. I agree.
Historically, or at least biblically, Abraham gave birth to two sons. One of them was Ishmael, and the other was Isaac. Isaac became the progenitor of the Israelis, and Ishmael was the progenitor of the Arab people.
Okay. And
they're all related to each other. The people that became later on, the Canaanites, the Samaritans, those were all the descendants of Ishmael, the people that are now, what we call Arabs. Mm. And his brother his half brother is Isaac. So these people are, if you want to just go all back to the founding document, which is the Book of Genesis here, whether you believe it or not, the story is that these people have a common origin.
Yes.
So if they can't get past their differences, and at least figure out a way to live together, there's never going to be peace. But the problem is that Islam has got it in their book of scripture. People and everybody who doesn't believe as they do has to be wiped out in the most brutal fashion possible. So you can't, again, you can't negotiate.
But modern Israel right now, for the record, Ariel Sharon, what was his name? Ariel Sharon, the prime minister before Netanyahu. No, Netanyahu's now, but all of them, all of the current prime ministers have said that the solution in Palestine is to get rid of them. The vast majority of Israeli people say that the solution is to get rid of the people in Palestine. So they're really under kind of a death threat, if you will. If you look at it that way, they feel like I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is that you got to put yourself in the position of being attacked. Right? In Gaza, there's 5 million people, and they're blowing up hospitals. I know that Palestinian Hamas blew up a rave in Israel. I'm aware of that in the middle of the desert. But Israel is coming back, dropping bombs on their heads, blowing up entire fucking neighborhoods and hospitals. Does that make it?
Yeah.
Right? It's a biblical war.
Well, the hospital. Well, again, the blowing up the hospital thing is another narrative that's being contested.
Yeah.
It's was a parking lot. There weren't 500 people. The Jews didn't set the bomb off. It was Hamas. And this is again, fog of war stuff. Where
wait a second.
In the postmodern world what the truth is.
Why would Hamas blow up? Well, let's use logic. Why would Hamas blow up their own hospital?
They didn't blow up the hospital. They dropped a bomb in the parking lot to make it look like the hospital blew up. They would do it so that they could incite sympathy, and so that they can shift the narrative and turn the world's attention to the fact that they flew in on hang gliders and shot to death kids that were dancing at a rave, and then went into villages and beheaded babies and poked out the eyes of women and children while their families watched. They tortured these people. They went beyond the parameters of civilized behavior. That was it. They crossed a line, and there are some things that we cannot tolerate. Civilized people cannot tolerate this kind of thing. In Israel, you will not hear a report of Israelis butchering babies. They will not do that. They are moral people. They are decent people. And if you think about the contribution of the Jewish people to history...
Wait. You think that there's rules of war. There's laws of war. You don't butcher kids. But you can come in and take all their property and starve them out. All right.
That's what war is. You can that's been the nature. That's been the nature of the human race from the beginning. Right. Coming into a place and taking other people's land because you can is the nature of history. And I'm not saying that it was right or that it was good, but there would be no America if our ancestors didn't do exactly that. If they didn't come here and decide that, okay, we like it here and we're going to stay, and we're going to project our power to make it so that we can take full advantage of this situation. And it was at the time, the nature of the world where might made right, and you did it because you could. I don't think that we need to be apologizing for any of that right now, because the world, the past is a different country.
Justin Falzone says, if Germany didn't enslave Jews, would Jews feel the need to leave Europe? Probably not, right? But again, Jews in Europe created a fucking problem. In many ways, it was an economic problem. The Jew was very powerful in Europe. Hitler said, "Look, they control banking, they control everything. Fuck them, take it back." And he vilified. Hitler successfully vilified the Jew, and kicked them out, right, or exterminated them, whatever. But that's all very true. But anyway, it's an exhausting conversation. We definitely have a war right now. I predict that it ends with much more bloodshed, much more dead Palestinians, a handful of dead Israelis, and no solution. It goes on and on, you know.
Well, my brother Anthony just texted me, and he said that
He's watching.
he says, "Tell us if Iran is." My brother Anthony, tell us if Iran is going to order Hezbollah to go out all out against Israel. This way, it's on the record when you are wrong. Because I think that I told him that Iran is going to go completely nuts on this, and he thinks that the Iranians are going to back down. But this, we are on the cusp of a full on world conflagration, and you know, my students are worried about their pronouns. You know,
right. That's a good point.
And I'm trying to wake these kids up and say, "Oh, you guys, the
Middle East is on East is on fire, and you're talking about fucking what bathroom you're going to use, right? What bathroom you're allowed to use." Right. I don't think Iran is a threat at all. I don't think Iran had any active planning with Hamas. I think it's just incidental. It's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh, look, Hamas blew up a rave in Israel, killed a bunch of people, and Iran agrees with that because they see the oppression, and they've been saying it for 20 years. Does Iran get dragged into a world war? I don't know. I don't see this as a world war. I see this more as another conflict like Syria and such. Look, if the United States stops backing Israel will probably use a nuclear bomb on somebody because they won't have any other way to defend themselves. But the real, in my view, the real war is more China, Russia, U.S., where China is economically pushing into everything, even your fucking phone. What's in your pocket? China is in your pocket, literally. They're in your headset. You're worried about Hezbollah and you're worried about fucking Hamas. You're worried about China and historically how China, you know, overthrows people. They don't do it by force. They say, yeah. What do you need? Cell phone? Oh, we make you cell phone. No problem. Right? And then they take the cell phones, our cell phone. They're selling you our cell phone, motherfucker. Right? And Russia does the same, but they're sloppy. They're like, Ukraine. Oh, there's a power vacuum. Let's just take it back. But China's on a world scale. If the U.S. defaults on Chinese treasuries, for example, the however many $7 trillion, and then you'll have a war, because the United States will say, "Fuck you, debt off the table. This is war. We're not going to pay you any of that debt." That's why Trump said the Chinese owe us $10 trillion. That was one of the reasons why he did it, because we're in debt to China. So if you want to talk about war, I would look more there than some skirmish in Israel where the sides are not fair at all. Israel is far superior and able to crush the Palestinians at the drop of a dime, right? And willing to do it too, verbally saying we will kill you, and you got Biden saluting it. So that's going to get increasingly ugly. But the world war is I don't know. Will we see another one? What else, Bill? Good talking to you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, I've missed you. It's great seeing you. It's great talking to you. It's nice that we've connected again, and hope we can do this again in a couple of weeks or a month or so, or whatever. It's fun. Yeah, keep on the theater stuff. Theater, and it never dies. For me, it never dies. I still play music. I'm in my garage singing Hare Krishna, and playing, and certainly this art. Who would have known? Who would have known that we would have made? We're making art right now. Really, this is artistic. This is two humans and a bunch of other humans watching, trying to understand a lot of things about today's generation, about war. Right, and thank you, YouTube, for not censoring us. We're talking, this even 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to talk about it. You said vaccine is bad. Fucking shit, and they shut your stream down. You said that people should have a choice. You said tranny.
right? And they cut you off. Right? But
Yeah.
so it's getting a little lighter, a little lighter.
I'm amazed that we got past the censors with some of the things that we said here. But again, the fact that we have to even worry about them.
Wait. One more comment. Zanito3 says, "Wow, didn't realize how anti-Semitic Marcus was." No. It's not anti. That's a default slur. To say somebody's anti-Semitic because they don't agree wholeheartedly with the Jewish state of Israel bombing their neighbor is not anti-Semitic at all. I would venture that I have more Jewish friends and colleagues and acquaintances than anybody in the room. But having said that, it's not anti-Jew. It's anti-Zionist Israel. That's what I would say. I'm anti-Israel in that sense because I don't see the gratitude. I don't see the worldview. I see it as they're severely. So I'm not an anti-Semite, but you got me, man. You got me to talk about it. You caught my eye, man. All right, well, I'll give you the last word, man. So I'll give you the last word, and last word. Go, man. Go. Talk about your
last word. Just be ready. Everybody needs to get their spiritual and mental and physical houses in order and be for what is about to come down the pike in the next year or so. It's an election year. Don't put it past the globalists and our potential masters to do whatever they can to seize control of the world at this time. Everybody needs to just be ready and keep your head on swivel, folks, especially if you're in crowded places, because it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Right. Good deal, man. Thank you, Bill. Dr. Bill Conte, thank you very much. Give him a round of applause. I'll talk to you later, Bill. I'm gonna kill the stream.
Thank you, Mark. We'll talk later.
Kill this page right now. I'll talk to you later. Peace, man. Peace, Bill.
Okay.
And bang. Thank you very much. Wow. That was educational, man, right? We learned something. That's what this is all about, man. It's a learning experience. Thank you, everybody in the chat for your input. How's the markets doing? Did it hang in? Wow, yeah, NASDAQ is up. Are we up? Where's the markets doing right now? And we're half an hour into the session, and it looks like the markets are creeping back up. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 215, NASDAQ up 100, S&P 500 up something, up 27. So there you go. That was my guest today. A lot of exposure to kids, and I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't know what I feel about this generation. I really don't know. I think that it's probably the same as it ever was, you know, and you got to take care of yourself. There's no doubt about that. You gotta eat right and exercise and stay clear, I guess, and keep making art, man. So I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll give you a little take it out with hot. Oops.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna. Krishna